I feel like everything happens for a reason. What I went through is terrible, and I think it's a path that God put me on for a better time like right now, because it's still surreal to me to even be in a situation where you had people like Governor Wolf actually talking about criminal justice reform, when it was like, you guys know, it was years these guys had came to see me in CFCF because of a violation. At one point in my life, I was actually addicted to opioids, and I think it should be a line drawn where you have a drug problem and you're scared to tell your probation officer you have a drug problem because you don't want to be sent to prison for years. And actually, I would like to thank my probation officer in Montgomery County. Her name is Kathy Subio. It was one point in my life I had a drug problem years ago, and I told her I had a drug problem, and she asked me that I want help, and she put me in a rehabilitation program, and it changed my life. And I actually made a commitment to speaking for the voiceless, the men that Governor Wolf speak about, that's incarcerated, some of the men and women. I actually spent time with these men and women and watch families being broken apart because of drug addiction, mental illness, technical violations. I actually watched the Starbucks situation play out through media, and if that was me in Starbucks on probation, I would have been actually in technical violation and still would have been able to be legally sentenced to 2 to 4 years in prison just because I came in contact with police. And growing up in the streets of Philadelphia as a black man, a black young man, we come in contact with the police on a daily basis. And as of right now, Philadelphia probation laws, if you come in contact with police, no matter if you're found guilty or you're innocent of a crime, legally you're still allowed to be put in jail. And I think things like that will keep communities like mine, where I come from, down. I grew up in a single-parent home with my mother. I lost my father when I was 5 years old. And at 30 years old, I was in prison for a technical violation. I have a 6-year-old son, so I want to thank God first. I always say God is my first lawyer. Thank God for being able to be here and be a part of history. I don't want to make this long because I'm still overwhelmed. I come from being in prison just 7 days ago, and I'm still overwhelmed. I tell Mike, I tell all my friends that it was a traumatic experience, and I'm happy to be back and be a part of what I call history, because I know it's a lot of voiceless men and people I personally know from being in prison, sitting next to them every day, who are dependent on me. And I feel like God has given me a great platform to help many others and make Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the world a better place. And that's all I have to say. I would like to thank everyone who has supported me, because I never used the platform to think. I seen a lot of kids out there standing in the rain outside the Criminal Justice Center supporting me and a lot of other young men who has been tangled in the criminal justice system for most of our lives. I was trained to think this was normal. I was trained to think going to prison was normal. And I don't regret anything that I ever been through to put me in this situation right now, because this situation right now is history. And I don't know. I put it in God's hand. God's put me in this situation, and I know moving forward I could be a better person from this day on. I'm nervous every day being on probation. I've been to jail at least 4 times for technical violations. I've never been back to jail since I've been convicted, wrongly convicted of this case in 2009. I've never been back to jail for criminal activity. So I always feel like I could be, my freedom could be taken. I could walk outside, somebody could accuse me of something, and I could end right back up in the state prison in the blink of an eye.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.